Hello, and welcome to the Astro Energy Astrology Show podcast with astrologer Shelley Overton.
Oh, once again, Mercury forgot to turn on the recording. But anyway, we're going to go from here and see what we've got. So I'm just probably going to start at the beginning. This is a chart for September 23rd. It's an equal house system, which means on this chart, you have everything is 30 degrees. It's all lined up, neat, squared up on the horizon, squared up on the north-south axis. And there are three sections, all equal 30 degrees in every segment. I like that for explaining things to you because it makes it much more organized for you to see what I'm trying to say. So having the grand trine here in Earth means Venus is at the career aspect, the career point. Capricorn, which rules the career point, has Pluto in it in the house of Taurus, or money and love. And then over here in the Taurus sector right now is the Virgo area naturally, and that is Uranus and North Node, significant on the third part of the trine. So we have kind of a stress energy coming in with these planets all lining up. Uranus and the North Node and Pluto are kind of staying somewhat in trine lockstep. So they're going to stay close together in that aspect for a little while. And Venus is the one that's the transient energy creating the grand trines. This energy is triggered in a couple different ways. First off, Venus is triggering in quick transit, like I just said, but she is at the top of the chart. So there is kind of a point in the public eye where we see women's issues or feminine energy influencing major current events. In this case, it's probably the Queen of England. There may be other influencers, but right now that's the one that springs to mind. Pluto down here in the house of money, which is tangible goods. It's, like I said, also love. It's how you get into a couple relationship. Capricorn is very practical in how it interacts with people. And Pluto is very emotional and deep feeling. Pluto and Capricorn can be very hidden and seem very stoic or restrictive in its demeanor, how it interacts with you. It is very significant because Pluto is the slowest moving planet in this grand trine. So he holds significance because he is going to stay put and be very, very stable for the duration of this grand trine. And Uranus, which is also a fairly slow moving planet over in the house of work and health, is really rounding out or finishing out that grand trine, but is the median energy. He is not the slowest and not the fastest. And yet he is joined up with the North Node, the node of fate, really trying to have us understand maybe something that we aren't as familiar with energetically, that is a significant line of events or theme that we may be dealing with in our personal lives and also globally, because the North Node tends to affect large groups of people. He's really influencing this Uranus energy, and Uranus is the force of change in our world, and humanitarianism, ecology, cooperation amongst large groups of people, diplomacy, worldwide energy, basically. And so he is bringing something significant to this grand trine at the time. And so what these three planets tell me together is definitely Pluto and degrees Capricorn is trying to have us really step into our own personal power. Venus is focusing us on women's issues and feminine power and the divine feminine. And Uranus is in a Taurus energy, which is ruled by Venus, and also wanting us to look at alternative methods, interesting, significant information that could come in from higher realms, and also get out of our own way and really be in our own personal power within the collective. And the overarching theme here, not just the planets, but the signs, are Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, which is bringing something forth into the material world. Once again, to use the Queen as an example, quite literally, in my opinion, a very telling energy with making a shift. It is something in the material structure that has shifted, major changes affecting the world, because it's not just England, it's Australia and Canada and other Commonwealth countries. I think South Africa is still under British protectorate or rule. Anyway, so yeah, this energy is really drawing our attention to a shift and change that will affect us globally, and then will also affect not that same global change, but in our own worlds, we will have major shifts around feminine energy, authority, power, personal power, and our place in the collective. So currently we have Moon at 4 degrees of Virgo. And so it is an energy of analysis, sensitivity, awareness of other people, awareness of self, self-criticism, education, and putting our ducks in a row, administrative work, really kind of closing off the outside world and moving in to our own mindset. Virgo is, I mean, there's a lot of similar things that everybody always says about Virgo: analysis, nitpicky, analytical, intellectual, all that. Virgo is a very service-minded energy. And so it makes us, because I'm a Virgo, and the sign, really aware of where there needs to be help. And so having the second house of Virgo, so if you moved Virgo around to the first horizon, if you're a Virgo rising, the second house would be Libra. And so that's the physical expression of the energy that comes in through Virgo and then is then manifested out as the next sign in the material world, which is cooperation and balance and diplomacy of Libra. So Virgos tend to have a really strong sense of understanding people in the world and cooperation and balance. And they want to do good. Libra rules charity, it rules social work. And Virgo can really manifest strong energy out through those modalities. Moon in Virgo means now our heart, our sentiment, our world in the home life. I should say world in a little bubble, because that's kind of what the moon does. It puts us in a little bubble for the moment. And in that bubble, it is Virgo, it is education, it is teaching, it is help, it is cooperation and understanding and connecting to others as a service member. And so Moon will move into connection with Venus throughout the week, and Mercury, and then Sun, and move on into Libra. We will get to that in a minute. But she's really looking to be of help and be of service in the workplace, in the work environment, and career. So career right now, if you have Virgo at the midheaven, your career is focused on Virgo entities. So medicine, military, and service, could be hospitality, could be education, being a teacher, librarian, because yes, Virgo does somewhat embody the librarian, but that's mostly Libra. It is an air sign and it is analytical, and it is Libra, so library, think about it. But yeah, there is definitely a connection between Virgo and Libra and libraries and reading. Virgo is the one that will get the book done. Libra is the one that has the impetus to do the book. And Gemini, the wordsmith, or maybe even Taurus, ruler of throat chakra, is the one that can get it written, the physical task of writing it. This week, we also have an opposition of Venus to Neptune as she transits. We'll talk about that in our weekly breakdown. But, a little bit more information. Venus, of course, feminine energy in Virgo. It is that authority figure who is very responsible. Neptune retrograde, clarifying some more emotions around what we see with that, what Venus is basically uncovering or showing or presenting. Neptune, totally in the emotions, totally watery, psychic, intuitive, non-tangible, where Venus in Virgo is absolutely grounded in the material world, wants to be very logical, and understands things very quickly, and including having Mercury up there in Virgo as well. Mercury at 29 degrees retrograde, so just got back into Virgo. They are installing carpet in the room right next to mine, so hopefully they won't be too loud. Tried to get this recorded before they got here, but alas, they're being quite loud for the moment. think they're taking furniture out, and I think they got the furniture out, so hopefully it'll be okay now. Um, Jupiter retrograde in Aries, going back towards Pisces. Jupiter's at 4 degrees Aries and still making his way back, still frustrated at times, definitely thwarted with his energy. He's got a positive aspect, actually. Mars at 17 Gemini, and Gemini and Aries get along pretty well. So the ruling planet of Aries, which Jupiter answers to, is Mars. Being in positive aspect means that we can expand our awareness. We might be a little brash, a little proactive, but it can bring new information that we have to get, and maybe meet new people that we could really use as a sounding board down the road, or meet new people that contribute something to our knowledge base. Saturn is at 19 Aquarius, and so in conjunct to the energy of Venus and Mercury, in conjunct to the energy of Venus. And so that's not a very cooperative energy. And again, Mercury has a rulership over Virgo, which is a lower vibration of Aquarian Uranian energy. So they do have an intellectualism about them, but Virgo wants to slow down and really take care of the minutia, where Aquarius is into the big picture and sees the whole thing. They may clash on that level. Saturn is authority figures and structures clashing, so your boss could clash with you when you present a better way of doing something. But if you present it from a know-it-all position or condescendingly, they're going to shut right down. That being said, Saturn in Aquarius itself can be quite condescending. So it could be kind of a battle of the intellects at this point. Just know that energy is out there. And then the sun is 0 degrees Libra on this very day. So we are seeing 0 degree Libra. He, of course, is moving into a sign that's more cooperative, they are both analytical, but much more embracing of a loving viewpoint than a little bit more closed off, crisp energy of Virgo. Libra, ruled by Venus, wants to embrace you and find out really how you are, what's going on with you. This chart shows Juno down at the bottom, which is in Pisces currently and retrograde. So any of you who maybe were moving forward with some type of romantic endeavor, when Juno slowed down to stop, which I believe was early August, until the third week of October, it is retrograde, and it means that we're pulling the energy back. And so that won't move forward again until late October, and happens to be during Libra season and commitment, which is Scorpio season. So that'll be interesting to see. A lot of proposals come in late October. Okay.
Hey, this is Shelley. I wanted to give you a heads up that there are a lot of new art prints at shelleyoverton.com. So go over there and check them out. SHELLEYOVERTON.com. Thanks.
Shimmy, shimmy, out, shimmy, in, shimmy, yeah. Give me the mic so I can take it away. Up on a natural charge, bon voyage. Yeah, from the home of the Dodger Brooklyn squad. 10 killer bees on the swarm. Rain on your dollar ass disco dome. You didn't even touch my skill. Gotta have one killer bee and he ain't gonna kill him. Shut that down, pass another round. Lyrics get like quick cement to the ground. Any MC and any 52 states, I get psycho killer. Norman Bates, I produce a slam. I was like, bam, jump on stage.
I want to talk about patience. Patience kind of came up this week because I feel that on an energetic level, we have been really tested recently with a lot of Aquarian energy and Virgo energy. It means that we want mentally to move forward and do things really rapidly, but we're not necessarily able to, because 6 out of the 10 planets and lights are retrograde. That means they pull their energy back for review over their territory. And so I wanted to discuss patience a little bit with you. So you could find where it is in an astrological chart, or, just understand it from an astrological viewpoint. So what I did was I wrote down some of the signs that are patient and some of the ones that are impatient, and that goes for the planets as well. So under patient, Pisces. Pisces is a very patient sign. It's so chill that it probably frustrates other people. Yeah, Neptune rules Pisces. Neptune just wants to go within, dig deep, and it isn't as concerned about timing or tasks at hand, which its opposite sign of Virgo is. It's just really laid back. So it does really well with patience because it just doesn't care. Venus, depending on which sign she's in, if she's in one of the more patient signs, of course, she's going to be super patient. If she's in a hyper sign like Gemini, she's going to be quite a bit less patient. But as a rule, Venus is an embracing, loving energy. And that means she could really, she's like a receptive feminine. So she may have more patience than your average bear. Okay, Saturn. Saturn wants us to take our time and get it right. And so Saturn ruling Capricorn, which will also be a sign under patient, they are, well, it's interesting because it is a cardinal sign, which it's an initiating energy. All the cardinal signs, Capricorn, Aries, Libra, Cancer, initiate. So that gives them a drive. But as a rule, Saturn, it tends to clamp down and restrict. And that means that they know that there is a lesson to be learned and lessons can take time. So I put Saturn and Capricorn under patient. Taurus, ruled by Venus, a feminine receptive. Taurus it rules in tarot, it's the pentacles, and it's very slow moving energy. Taurus wants to know it's safe and everything is as it should be before it takes action. So I would say out of all the signs of the zodiac, Taurus is probably the most patient and probably most frustrating for those who want things to go quickly. I put Libra because Libra is cooperative, balancing, and receptive energy. And again, a cardinal sign. But generally, Libra is going to have patience with other people because they want things to work out well. They want a peaceful life. Cancer. Cancer's ruled by the moon. Again, watery energies can tend to go inward and mean that we're taking things a little bit slower. And let's see what else. The moon. So if you see the moon, even though it changes signs every 2.5 days, the moon, I guess, depending on signs, can really be very patient. And degrees of the moon, so, anything from like 25 to 29, 59 can be really patient because it's a void of course moon. Nothing gets done under that energy. The opposite side, I'm just going to list them real quick, then I'll go over them. So Uranus, Aquarius, Mars, Aries, Mercury, Gemini, Sun, probably Leo, Virgo, and there was one I forgot that I wanted to add in. What was it? Aries, Gemini, Leo, Virgo, Scorpio can be extremely patient, actually, and Pluto, because they just take a real long time to go around the zodiac. The interesting thing about Scorpio is that it's tenacious, which means it can hold on and go way past when it should leave, but it is also very quick to decide, very decisive energy, which makes it more impatient when it makes decisions. Like Libra takes forever to decide and is very wishy-washy and on the fence about things when it comes to decisions, and so they can take their time. But Scorpio, highly impatient when a decision is to be made because they've already made it. They've weighed and balanced the black and white of it and then make the decision. Let's get it, do it, move on. Sagittarius and Jupiter, really impatient. Let's be here, something better over there. Let's go over there. Let's deal with that. Capricorn, like I said, is very patient. Aquarius, not patient. Pisces, patient. Aries, not patient. Taurus, patient. Gemini. So it's like every other sign, basically, with the exception of maybe Leo and Virgo and Libra. So Leo, Virgo, pretty impatient. Cancer, pretty patient. Gemini, not patient. Taurus, patient. The respective rulers of those signs, also same thing. Like I've said, Mars, Mercury, potentially the moon, Jupiter, and Uranus, definitely impatient. All the others fall into patient. So where those are in your chart is where you can find patience and where you have a talent for patience. Like I have Saturn in Pisces in a career. I think my career has had many twists and turns because my progressed Saturn is in Aquarius. So I'm always finding new things to do, but that's why astrology is such a great career for me, because it gives me constant stimulation, which Aquarius wants. Saturn in Pisces, 0 degrees. I'm in a Saturn return this coming year in March. And so that's going to be taking time, digging deeper, getting into the intuition, trying to figure things out from an esoteric standpoint. Very slow paced, patient. I'm not a patient person. I have 4 Virgo planets in the Aquarius house, and I have Scorpio rising with, I do have Neptune in the first. So like I said, I can be very tenacious, and Moon in the first, but ultimately decision wise, I'm like, get it done. Let's move on. Yeah. So anyway, I want to share that with you because we are in times that really require patience. If you want to know which area of your chart is more patient, do your chart, the transits, and look at which planets are transiting which house. And that, like, based on what I said, you can figure it out. Okay, let's just go down the week real quick and then put this one in the can. I'm going to just give you what I've written down. Friday, I'm going to list, this is what I'm going to do, list the aspects and then tell you what they mean. So Sun conjunct Mercury in Libra, both signs. Moon enters Virgo at 3:53 a.m. on Friday the 23rd. Mercury enters Virgo at 8:04 a.m. on Friday the 23rd. Moon in conjunct Jupiter at 11:50 a.m. Tend to say Moon joins up with Mercury almost immediately, but it says it doesn't catch up until the next day or 2 days later, Sunday. So we'll talk about that when we get there. Friday, it's thoughtful, directed, intelligent, educational. It's teacher energy with Moon in conjunct to Jupiter. Aries energy is very stressed. It has to slow down, cross the T's, dot the I's. It doesn't want to. It's much more emotional right now and probably on the edge of anger. Leo energy is okay and cooperative, but Sagittarius is also stressed. Mercury in Virgo, so it's health, teachers, tech. It's grounded energy, earthy, and we can be at odds in the evening, which is like, or in the afternoon, actually. Moving into the afternoon on Friday, be a little bit more agitated because the majority of the day, the last aspect is Moon in conjunct to Jupiter and Aries. Getting a little lightheaded. Saturday, the 24th. I keep wanting to say Moon, but it's Venus opposite Neptune at 4:51 a.m. Moon, this is all Moon. Moon in conjunct Chiron in Aries, squared to Mars in Gemini at 1:51 p.m., trine to Uranus at 3:17 p.m., in conjunct to Saturn at 4:38 p.m. And then the evening, overnight, it's 10:10 p.m. Pacific, 1:10 a.m. Eastern on the 25th. Moon opposes Neptune. So we're going to have an emotional breakdown energy with Venus opposite Neptune. It means that the ego association of Venus is being challenged by Neptune. So Venus and Virgo wanting to be a little bit more refined, mannerly, demure. And Neptune in Pisces is much more about just chill with your bad self. Just chill out. That's what it is. So we're going to be sensitive. There may be a battle of the wits of the Moon squaring Gemini, Mars at 1:51 p.m. on Saturday. So if you're trying to get little tasks done, there could be, and especially with the Moon in Virgo and then Mars, the masculine energy in Gemini, this could be a squaring off between moms and sons or sisters and brothers. It's feminine, receptive, intellectual versus masculine, driven, and analytical. And so they're going to kind of approach it slightly different. So men and women, a little bit of stress on Saturday. Moon opposite Neptune overnight, very emotional, wanting to cocoon, probably going to be really sleepy and dreamy, and know that the dreams can be really heightened under this energy. Okay, Sunday the 25th, new moon, 2 degrees Libra. We've got the moon opposing Neptune, like I said, overnight. Moon joins up with Venus at 3:24 a.m. A lot of us will be asleep unless you're really up super late overnight in the Pacific time zone to 12:24 when moon conjuncts Venus. Strong women energy, very intelligent women. And there are the carpet layers. Moon trine Pluto in Capricorn, 5:35 a.m. So this is getting something done. This very productive energy. Moon conjunct Mercury at 8:49 a.m. Also very productive energy, but more lists and tasks. Moon enters Libra at 12:43 p.m. So from 8:49 a.m. to 12:43 p.m., which is what, 3 hours, almost 4 hours, void of course moon. The new moon hits at 5:55 p.m. It's in Libra at 2 degrees, and that's Eastern, 2:55 Pacific. And so new moon in Libra is going to bring us into our cooperation with others, a connection to being around another person, and balance of marriage and partnership. Moon joins with the sun at 5:55, then opposes Jupiter at 7:45 in Aries. So we have a little more cooperation with the ego when the moon enters Libra early in the afternoon, but then we have that restriction, or not restriction as much as, well, maybe it is restriction, because Jupiter retrograde acts a bit more like Saturn. And so the male, masculine, educational, travel, musician, sports figure energy is going to have a say about the balance. And he is not going to want to cooperate. He wants to look at things more like a sports game and a competition. Whereas the moon and the mother figure around home and family, we're much more cooperative, so we can have peace. But Jupiter, travel energy, out in the public eye, sports, etc. So I've got patience with youth. The moon has patience with youth. There are tantrums, structures and balance can break down. Cooperation and collaborative energy is there with the moon in Libra, and a peace is really desired. Tangibles, driven to do work, and then let's just all get along energy. Monday, the 26th, we have moon in Libra still. Starts out with Venus in Virgo, trining to Pluto, Mercury conjunct Venus, Sun in Libra opposite Jupiter, still 3:33 p.m. Carpeting the walls, I think. And then the moon in conjuncts Uranus and trines Mars and trines Saturn. So I see it as it's a learning moment. It can be about marital strife. There's a chaotic energy, especially in the evening. Mercury, Venus are joined in Virgo. And again, that's 1:59 p.m. So it is very intellectualized, academic energy. Good day to study on Monday. Maybe even take tests. Tuesday, the 27th, again, aspects are moon in Libra in conjunct Neptune in Pisces, Mercury, Virgo, trine to Capricorn, Pluto, moon in Libra square to Pluto, and then it enters Scorpio at 7:15 p.m. There's an inconjunct immediately to Jupiter and Mars in Aries, trine Saturn in Aquarius. Those two aspects, moon in Scorpio in conjunct Jupiter, Aries, and Mars in Gemini, trine to Saturn in Aquarius, is very volatile energy. Again, it goes from the intellect with Gemini, Aquarius into material and action. And so the trine can mean if you're trying to promote something and make it happen in your career, you're going to be very quick and very forthright with it, but that can also mean you have to go back and alter it somewhere, because Mars and Gemini is doing things twice. Moon in conjunct Aries, Scorpio moon, very passionate, deep, and in its negative energy can be really put upon and jealous. Trining Mars and Gemini, kind of not really understand consequences of actions, or acting very rapidly and then regretting it later. So late in the evening, very volatile. And then the moon in conjunct Uranus at 10:31 p.m. also adds to the volatility. So Monday the 26th, yeah, real chaotic energy. Something could go on, Mars and Gemini, public eye, just because it's more information disseminated. Okay, Wednesday, it's a little bit of a chill day because we've got only 3 aspects written on here, and one is Moon in conjunct Jupiter, which is the one we brought it in from overnight from the 27th, and also Mars trine Saturn. Also, both those aspects are overnight from East to Pacific time zone. And so the volatility kind of comes in over those time zones. And then we end the evening the next day. There's really nothing between 1:49 a.m. and 9:01 p.m. the next day, and that is Moon in Scorpio in conjunct to Chiron in Aries, which tells me that could be some kind of behavioral energy in the public eye. Personally, it's going to be aggravated and agitated over things not going well and not cooperative. In the public eye, it could be some type of warring battle aspect, and we'll see that in the news, really. Thursday the 29th, Moon squares Saturn, void of course Moon, Mercury is retrograde. Use this time to review and edit projects you already started. The void of course Moon is 5:20 p.m. We also have Venus entering Libra, so we're going to be much more in balancing partnerships. And then Moon Scorpio opposite Uranus and Taurus. That can be a major change around commitment. Moon in Scorpio square Saturn. That is the energy of, well, a square. Saturn in Aquarius, again, is quick-minded, quick and alternative ways of dealing with structure and systems and authority figures. And then Moon in Scorpio is really wanting to hide and not deal with the collective. It's very covert. And Saturn in Aquarius, there may be a little bit of covert energy there with Saturn, but Aquarius is much more out in the public and the group energy. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up really quickly because it's kind of noisy. Moon sextile Mercury at 2:58 p.m. on the 29th, and then sextile to Capricorn, Pluto at 5:20. So from 3 in the afternoon until the void of course Moon at 5:20, it's going to be maybe a little bit more productive, intense, and passionate. Friday, we'll talk about in the next podcast. My apologies if this is a little bit more difficult to listen to and disjointed. I'm going to try and edit out a lot of the difficulty you may be hearing here. So anyway, that's all for this week. Thank you for joining us, and I will see you next week. Bye. Take care. Let's see. Aries, bless you.
To purchase my ebook, Learn Astrology, you can find it at angeliczodiac.com. Hi, this is Shelley. Thank you for joining us this week. To contact me for a private reading, go to angeliczodiac.com under the Readings tab. Background music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. Be sure to check back next week and subscribe through iTunes at Astro Energy Astrology Show.